Good morning. You brave souls coming out today with the dusting of snow. Good for you. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, wherever you may be today, please know that for this hour, you are part of this one congregation, and you are welcomed here. And we'd also like to welcome those who are visiting on Zoom that weren't as brave, but that's okay. My name is Ted Lillis. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm very honored to be in the pulpit today as the worship associate with Reverend Dara. You may notice in the order of service there's a few things that may be out of order, I guess. The order of service was tried to be prepared before Lenore went on holiday for Christmas, and so there were a few gaps that were waiting to be filled. And unfortunately, some of those gaps weren't filled, so please bear with us. And I'll also say that the recorded music that you're hearing today is in place. Since Ed can't be here, he is with Nancy, who is in the hospital. So prayers for Nancy. We invite everyone today in the sanctuary to join us for coffee hour, teas and snacks and drinks and conversation after the service. You can get to the assembly hall through that door on my left, and if you're new or visiting or nearly new and you want to be greeted, please take a red cup. And someone from this congregation will be looking for you and to strike up a conversation. We gratefully acknowledge the Patuxet Wampanoag people on whose ancestral land we gather today, and we commit to support and honor their history and culture. Okay. I would direct you to our weekly email for a number of announcements for what's going on in church this week and the rest of the month. I have two announcements that I'd like to share. One is that forest bathing will be happening from 11:15 to 12 o'clock today. Is that right, Sally? Forest bathing is a way to breathe or to bathe your senses among the trees. And that, as I said, that will be happening today. See Sally DeLisa in the corner of the Harvey Hall for some suggestions. And she'll let you know at around 11:50. And she'll ring the bell. I would also like to mention or lift up that if you're interested in doing this job better than me, Worship Associate training will be held next Sunday after church. If you're interested, please talk to Cindy Ladd-Fiorini or Michael Gardner.
Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. It's so good to see all of you here on this cold and wintry morning. And to those of you also joining us online, snug and warm as you take part in this service, we welcome you here as well. My name is Dara Bryans. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the minister here at First Parish in Duxbury. Our opening words are called Let Go, and they were written by retired UU minister Reverend Lois Van Leer. Let go of all that binds you, of all the burdens you carry, of all that shames you, of fear, of trespasses and transgressions, of woundedness. Let go of guilt, let go of anger, let go of the small-mindedness and pettiness of ways of being that no longer work for you. Of compulsions that consume your living, let go of what you cannot change, let go of regret, of that which haunts you, let go of pain, let go of ways in which you missed the mark. Let go. Be here now as we join in worship together. Welcome. Our opening hymn this morning is May Nothing Evil Cross This Door, and it is sung on the first Sunday of the new year in my home congregation as both a blessing and a hope for what may come. The lyrics from the poem come from or were written by 20th century Jewish-American U.S. poet laureate Lois Untermeyer, set to a tune composed by Robert Quayle. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit, join in singing hymn number 1. The lyrics are on the screen and at number 1 in the gray hymnal.
Let this flame be to us a symbol of the wholeness we seek.
Its brightness is selling gloom, lighting a path to faith and hope.
Its glow reminding us of the sacred bonds that link us to all living things.
Its radiance calling us to cast light, freedom, justice, and peace upon all our world.
So this is our time for all ages, but it really is for all ages. And I'm going to start with a confession. I was maybe in the 4th or 5th grade before I realized that the calendar year and the school year were different. I know. I was a bit of a dreamy kid and lived in my own world, but in the 4th or 5th grade, as we were lined up to leave the classroom before Christmas break, one of my classmates turned to the teacher and said, on his way out the door, "See you next year." And I was so confused. We had just moved from Alaska, and this was my first year of school in Massachusetts. And I thought, maybe the school year here is really short. And I ran home to ask my mom. And my mom, bless her, she did not laugh at me, but explained that January 1st is the start of a new calendar year. And we would, in fact, be coming back to school after the winter break. And the school year wouldn't get out until June. Ah, I said, my dreams of an 8-month break disappearing. So New Year might not mean the end of the school year, but over time I've come to love the turning of the calendar and for the possibilities it brings. Each January we're given the chance to reflect back on the year that's gone by and to think about what we want for that coming year. So this morning we are going to engage in a ritual called the burning of the grudges. And in this ritual, we will take some time to look back at the year gone by because it is hard to move forward when we feel tied down by our past. And this past year has been particularly difficult for many of us. So in this ritual, we're going to work together and individually to let go of anything that weighs us down, anything that brought us grief and anxiety and anger, anything that might keep us from moving forward into new adventures with hope and with joy. So, once we've thought about what's holding us back, what feels heavy, what that mean little voice in our head tells us that is wrong about us, then we're going to write them down on a little slip of paper, the little ones that you got when you came in. That would be these. This is called flash paper. If you did not get a piece when you came in, can you raise your hand so we can bring you some? Oh, there. Perfect. So they're not very big, these pieces of paper. So you got to have small grudges or write very tiny or think of code words you could use. So then we're going to burn these grudges, as I said, flash paper. It burns very quickly and rapidly. So I want to tell you that we're using fire for a couple of different reasons. Historically, many of our ancestors used fire as a way to send burnt offerings up to their God. This offering was a way for people to make things right in their relationship with God. The smoke and the flame and the heat of the burned offering, they rise up and carry that gift up to the heavens. So we will burn our grudges to send them back to the cosmos, to the ether and the great mystery beyond our understanding. We offer them up to bring balance back to our own hearts. And a second reason that we use fire is that fire is also a way of preparing the ground for planting. Indigenous peoples have used for millennia fire as a way to burn off the plants and the weeds and undesirable things, preparing the ground for greater diversity and new growth. So in our ritual, we're lifting up, giving up to the world, our burdens that we don't want to carry with us, and we're also making room for what we want to have in the new year. So I'm going to light our candles here, and then I'm going to show you how flash paper works. So, as I mentioned, flash paper burns very quickly and very cleanly, and all you have to do, usually you write on it and then maybe fold your paper a little bit. So I'm going to just fold mine in half. And then you'll come up here and you will lightly touch it to the flame. And here's the hard part, you have to let go. If you don't let go, you'll be left holding a tiny corner of that paper. And don't forget that paper represents all the things you want to let go of, but you're still holding on to it. So this is where the courage comes in, the courage to touch the flame and the courage to let it go. So, I also want to acknowledge that courage is sometimes hard to find, but courage doesn't always mean doing it yourself. Courage sometimes means asking for help. So if you come up here and you find that you don't want to touch your flash paper to the flame, you can do one of two things. You can use these handy grabbers that we've put up here, and you can take your piece of paper and use that. Again, don't forget to let go. Or you can ask me or Ted, who will be there to help, and we can light that paper for you. And for those of us joining at home, you can recreate this ritual as well. Just grab a piece of paper and a pencil or pen, write down those things that are holding you back, and then after the service, take it outside to burn it in a way that is safe for you and your environment. If you can't do that, you can also take tissue paper and write on that, and then put it in water, and it will slowly disintegrate and dissolve with the life-giving force of water, carrying that burden for you. So, let us begin. Settle your body into your seat and take a deep breath with me in and out. Breathe in courage. And breathe out whatever is holding you back. One last breath in and out. You're now invited to sit in silence and contemplate for several moments as you think about the question of what is holding you back. What do you want to leave behind from the past year? And when you are ready, write down those things on your piece of paper. And once you've written on your flash paper, you are welcome to come up and burn your grudges. If you come up the center aisle and return on the side aisle.
Hi, Happy New Year.
That's good news. Yeah. Well, you should have told me that.
Oh, this is a courageous congregation. Look at us all. I have a blessing for the ending of our ritual. For all that we are seeking to let go of, may we have the courage to make the changes, and may our hearts be cleansed and balanced, making room for new growth. May it be so, and amen. I would invite you to join in singing hymn 118, This Little Light of Mine, as our kids go out to religious exploration with Sally, who will be helping them and having a great time this morning together downstairs.
Well done. Each week, we lift up the joys and concerns we carry with us into the sanctuary, recognizing that a joy shared in loving community is a joy amplified. And in sharing our concerns with one another, we lay these burdens down to be held, even if only for a moment, by this community. The first Sunday of each month, we invite folks in the congregation to come up and share a joy, a concern, or a care for the world. When you come up to the microphone, please share your name and your pronouns, if you'd like. And if you are joining us online, please use the hand raise function or chat to Emma to let us know that you'd like to share a joy or concern. And Emma will make sure that you get an opportunity to do so. So, if you'd like to light a candle, please come from the side, light a candle, come to the microphone here, and let it go. I will start with a candle for Nancy. Thank you, Nancy Swanborn. Who's in the hospital. I don't have any other details than that, but Ed is with her, and I'll light this candle of concern for her.
I will offer a candle of concern for all those folks who were injured and or killed in the fire in Switzerland. I would also like to light a candle of concern for the people of Venezuela and for the people of our country.
My name is Nancy Landgren. I'm lighting a candle of great joy. I have a niece who is an OB/GYN oncologist. She's also bipolar. When she and her husband started seriously discussing how they were going to fit a pregnancy in to her medical studies, it became clear that she couldn't get off her meds and be pregnant. So they went down the surrogacy route. So it's long and convoluted and very complicated. Not to mention how expensive it is. But her egg, his sperm, and somebody else's womb are going to create a baby expected mid-July.
Hi everyone, I'm Jen Whedon. My pronouns are she, her, and I have two joys. One is that I wanted to say thank you to the Caring Connections folks. I had a big surgery in October, and many of you sent cards, dropped off food, not even knowing me or my family, and so I wanted to just say thank you for that. And then I also wanted to just acknowledge joy for people who serve in our community. So I currently am on our school committee. Shannon is here, who's also on our school committee. I know Cindy's on the select board, and so just grateful for those who, raise their hands in times like these, and it's not always easy. So thanks.
Yeah, this one's also about a surgery. As some of you know, I had a surgery last month on my shoulder, and this is a candle of joy that the recovery is going well. Gratitude for the fantastic thoracic surgery team at Mass Gen, and hopes and prayers for continued good recovery. Thanks.
Michael Gardner, he, him. I lit 3 candles. The first is one of gratitude for members of this congregation who just helped out when the COVID virus managed, after 5 years, to finally slip into our house. And we got some lovely food and condolences and kindness from all of you. Thank you so much. The second is a candle of concern for my wife and my nephew. Turns 50 on Tuesday, had a heart attack in the ambulance going to the hospital on Christmas Day. Not sure how bad the damage is yet, but just wishing him all the best. And the third is a candle of sorrow and condolence for the death of John Powell. He died right after Christmas. John and his wife Nan have been very, very consistent attendees on Zoom since COVID began, and before that, occasionally here. I didn't get to know John too well, but the contacts I had with him, just a really, really good guy, gentleman, and very dedicated to participating in the worship life here in the way that he could. There will be a celebration of life sometime in the spring, but ask you to just hold Nancy in your hearts, Nan in your hearts. Thank you.
I'm Cindy Wilson, and I lit a candle of sadness for my good friend Andre Camabrecco, who some of you may know. She had 3 boys that grew up in this town, very active in sports, and she passed away on the Tuesday before Christmas from pancreatic cancer.
I'm Cindy Ladd Fiorini. I use she, her pronouns. I've just been thinking a whole lot this Christmas season of my friend Helen Cato, who some of you know and some of you don't. Helen was a long-time parishioner here with her husband Michael. Michael died a few years ago. Helen's suffering from pretty severe Alzheimer's disease, and it's really hard not to be able to talk to her. I haven't seen her for about a year and a half, but according to her daughter, she's doing as well as she can and is relatively happy and content. So, candle for Helen.
As we have no joys or concerns virtual to share, I will light a last candle for joys and concerns deeply felt but yet spoken.
Our time of meditation and prayer this morning begins with a poem from a liturgical resource for solidarity with Venezuelans created by the Unitarian Universalist Association. It is called Caracas, January 3rd. There is something simple which power forgets, and clouds of smoke and the roar of rotor blades cannot conceal. There are people there, wherever there is, on the front lines of every empire's efforts to manifest dominion. Just people, running on the sidewalks, panicked at the borders, cans of food and children's toys rattling even now in the trunk of a car that for today still starts. People there, in doorways and on freeways, praying for a place beyond the bombs without ever knowing the plans of men with pens that write orders and suits worth more than this month's rent, and declarations that burst forth in fire when the children should be sleeping. Just people there. On this day, we pray strength unto them all upon us all, to meet this time with courage and grief, and remembering and reminding that in that place where they are, among them, there is only us. I invite you to please join me in the spirit of prayer, however you understand that practice to be. Spirit of life and of love, may we each, all of us, but especially our political leaders, remember that in every act of aggression, oppression, and violence, on the other side, there are only people like us, just people. May it be so, and amen. Will be held in a moment of silence. Amen. We'll now have a musical interlude.
Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Go, let go, let go. Holy breath and holy name. Will you ease this pain? Holy breath in holy name. Will you ease this pain? Oh, holy breath and holy name. Will you ease this pain? Oh, holy breath and holy name. Will you ease this pain? Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go.
Our reading this morning was written by Methodist minister, artist, and poet Jan Richardson. Our reading is an essay from her book Night Visions, and it is titled A Bag of Many Colors. Brenda went to Peru last fall to visit a friend of ours. At Christmas time, she gave me a bag she had brought back, woven of brilliantly dyed thread into a bold Peruvian pattern. The bag is small enough to carry around my neck, under a sweater when I travel, or to put in a knapsack. At home, I leave it on my dresser mirror, hanging by its long strap of braided yarn. As I cross the threshold into a new season and a new year, the bag prompts questions. What do I need for the journey ahead? What would I put in the bag to take with me? What objects, words, blessings, hopes, charms would I keep within its colors against my chest as I meet the coming days? How will my actions in the year ahead stretch my own thresholds, my own boundaries, and bring me closer to others, to ones such as those who fashioned this very bag? Or do I need to leave it empty to wait and see what will fill it in this year? Finally, the bag is so full of questions that no space remains for anything else. Some say it will grow lighter with the journey, but though the contents may shift in handling, I think this bag will never be empty. Jan Richardson closes each of her essays with a blessing, and I have one here. I cannot release the questions. With every step they multiply, and yet they carry a wisdom of their own. God of mystery, help me to hold the questions, lead me to live them, and bless me to bless them for disturbing my path. May it be so. Here ends our reading.
I believe that the offering has been collected, so I want to express my great gratitude for the gifts and the givers, for the generosity of this congregation that keeps the life and the work going, that has sustained us for generations and that we now sustain so that future generations can be here. I'd like to express my gratitude for the poinsettias that were left from our Christmas Eve service. Thank you to those who organized our poinsettias. And Sophie, we will be skipping the offertory. I love Sundays like this, I'm going to be honest, where it's a little bit free-flowing and we're figuring it out as we go along. I hope that you, too, find grace and joy in the ways in which things unfold. So I am finding myself starting the new year with a heart that feels sick and a soul that feels weary. The news of the U.S. attack on Venezuela and the kidnapping of their leader has sent me into a downward spiritual spiral. New Year and the month of January is a time when I often seek a reset in my life. The crossing of the threshold from one year into the next calls to the spirit of adventure within me. The start of a new year has always felt like an invitation to at least attempt to change, to seek something more, to renew my commitment to being my better self. And I usually love this liminal time when one year comes to a close and I don't yet know what the new year is going to bring. All I know is that it is rampant with possibility. This is a liminal time. Liminal meaning neither here nor there, like being halfway across a bridge, having left one side, one shore, but not yet arrived at the next one. It is a space of possibility, and it has always felt mystical to me, a place of magic realism where the fantastical and the concrete can coexist. But this year, I am crossing the threshold with a weary heart and soul. It is hard to have a sense of adventure, to believe in the mystical, transformational space with the unrelenting bad news being generated by our government. And yet I believe that that is exactly when our heart and spirit, when they are in that heavy and difficult space, that we need to engage with the liminal. We need liminality for all the possibilities that it opens up for us, the imaginal realms waiting to be revealed. The late Irish poet, philosopher, and writer John O'Donoghue had this to say about liminal spaces. At any time, you can ask yourself, at which threshold am I now standing? At this time in my life, what am I leaving? Where am I about to enter? What is preventing me from crossing from one threshold into the next? What gift would enable me to do it? A threshold is not a simple boundary. It is a frontier that divides two different territories, rhythms, and atmospheres. Indeed, it is a lovely testimony to the fullness and integrity of an experience or a stage of life, that it intensifies toward the end into a real frontier that cannot be crossed without the heart being passionately engaged and woken up. At this threshold, a great complexity of emotions comes alive. Confusion, fear, excitement, sadness, hope. This is one of the reasons such vital crossings were always clothed in ritual. It is wise in your own life to be able to recognize and acknowledge the key thresholds. To take your time. To feel all the varieties of presence that accrue there. To listen inward with complete attention, to hear your inner voice calling you forward. End quote. I am filled with the swirling mix of emotions, that fear and anxiety, sadness and anger, and also a smidge of joy and hope, trust and anticipation. I find myself this year standing on a precipice, not yet quite having the courage to take that step across to the other side. O'Donoghue writes in that same essay that crossing thresholds takes courage. And I am here to testify that he is right. Stepping into the unknown is an exercise in trust and in faith. And I needed his reminder to take my time, to listen inward with complete attention until I hear the inner voice calling me onward. These words of wisdom strengthen my courage. And O'Donoghue's words remind me of Jan Richardson's ritual that we heard about in our reading, and how she filled her colorful bag with all the things that she would need for her journey in the new year, of her preparation for the crossing into the unknown. She packed her bag with questions that she was wrestling with, confessing that by the time she added all of her questions, the bag was full. She wondered if the bag could possibly be emptied over the course of her journey. As she slowly used up these questions that helped her take her time, the questions that helped her discern what her journey in the new year would be, she kept these charms and objects and questions close to her heart, close to her chest. And these things sustained her in spirit and in heart for the journey. I'm wondering about the role of rituals in preparing us for life's journeys. When we make a ritual of something, we are acknowledging its importance. We make it sacred. We bolster our courage, our trust, and our faith through that ritual. And this morning, we have already begun our ritual of crossing thresholds. We began our time together with a ritual of burning of the grudges. This ritual engaged both O'Donoghue's and Richardson's questions that asked, what is holding us back and weighing us down? What burdens are we carrying? And we started the process of letting these things go to free up the space that we need and the making of room for what might come. So now we have made that room in our bag, ready to pack it with the vital supplies we will need for this year's journey. The question is, what is it that we need? Do you need a talisman or a charm? Do you need symbols or words? Do you need questions? to guide your journey? And do you need to keep those close to your chest and near to your heart? As you came into the sanctuary, you should have also have been given a little bag. Show people. Ted will lift up the bag and the pieces of paper. You should have gotten a small cloth bag and some colorful pieces of paper. If you did not get them, you want to raise your hand and Ted can bring them around. So our ritual this morning in this second part is going to help us think about and discern what is it that we're making room for. We're going to take time to listen inward, to find that voice calling you onward. As you listen to that inner voice, ask yourself, what is my journey? And what do I need for that journey? What words or word do I need to inspire me? What charms or talismans will keep me engaged throughout the year? And you will be invited to write down on those colorful bits of paper what you hear from that voice. And if you find throughout the ritual that you have filled up your little piece of paper, we can bring you another piece. Just raise your hand. I'm going to give us a good stretch of time for this discernment. It'll be 2 or 3 long minutes, which sounds like not a lot until you're sitting quietly. So, as we prepare to engage in our ritual, actually, I'm going to wait for Ted to finish giving out supplies before we have our prayer. Please join me now in the spirit of prayer. Spirit of the in-between, of mysticism and transformation. Guide our hearts to hear that still, small voice within, calling us back to ourselves, reminding us of who we are and what we need. Help us to discern what questions we need to ask, what supplies we will need to gather, and how we should begin this journey. May it be so. Amen. You are invited to begin your time of contemplation, listening, and writing. Together, we have taken the steps to let go of what's holding us back, the challenges and the difficulties and the things that no longer serve us. And we've begun the process of moving forward into our new year. We don't know what will come, but I invite you to pack your spiritual bags with the slips of paper that bring nourishment, support, and questions for the journey. That little bag that you were given, you can tuck them inside. I know it is not as colorful and beautiful as Jan Richardson's that she received, but think of it as a blank canvas for you to decorate and draw on. And also remember, keep that bag close, and also be reminded that you can unpack and repack that bag and these supplies of the heart and the spirit as your journey progresses. I offer us this blessing on our journey. May you take the leap of faith to cross the precipice of what will come. May you have loving companions along the way, and many rest stops for rejuvenation. And may you remember that thresholds don't always arrive when that calendar turns the page. Listen inward. Seek the still small voice within that calls you onward. May it be so, and blessed be. Please rise in body or in spirit for our closing hymn, Morning Has Broken. This was a song written by 20th century British children's writer Eleanor Farjeon to fit a traditional Gaelic hymn melody, and as many of us know, it was popularized by Cat Stevens, now known as Yusuf Islam. Lyrics are at number 38 in our hymnal and on our screens.
Morning has broken like the first morning. My heart has spoken like the first word. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning.
leading us in saying the words printed in our Orders of Service, written by Reverend Elizabeth Sally Jones, that we say together each week.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
You may be seated. I offer a poem, Burning of the Old Year, written by poet Naomi Shahib Nye, as our benediction. Excuse me. Letters swallow themselves in seconds. Notes friends tied to the doorknob, transparent scarlet paper, sizzle like moths' wings, marry the air. So much of any year is flammable. Lists of vegetables, partial poems, orange swirling flame of days, so little is stone. Where there is something and where there was something and suddenly isn't. An absence shouts, celebrates, leaves a space. I begin again with the smallest numbers. Quick dance, shuffle of losses and leaves, only the things I didn't do, crackle after the blazing dies. Our service begins when our service ends. Go in peace.